Coming up on this LinuxGamecast Weekly, we tell you where to pick up some Linux gaming on the cheap. Gmod preps itself for the Steam pipe, Demon Hunters lands on Linux, and we explain why porting your game and Flash is doing it wrong. Then we're going to throw some chairs and hairy tales. All this, plus your 8 mil. Let's go. And welcome back to another LinuxGamecast Weekly, the show that covers Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and sometimes the occasional interview. But this week we're talking about X3 Reunion, Gmod, smokes the pipe, why porting a game to Flash is absolute rubbish, and, well, some extra gaming details for you cheapskates. But joining me every week, proving the entire myth that Canadians are polite, Massa's Fang. Check him out. Here he is.
I just farted like 3 times.
Well, I was talking...
you know what? I think I sold myself in the last one. Or maybe it was the middle one. Either way.
And all the way from Mexico, Portugal, Massa Mateus.
It's like the Mexico of Europe, so that's fair.
Same difference. It smells the same, actually, at the end of the day, but we always like to catch up on what's been going on with each other. So, gentlemen, throw at my face organs, starting with you, Mas Mateus. How's that job hunting going?
Well, I did go to an interview last Wednesday. I'm still waiting to hear back from them, and I already have another one lined up for next Friday. Hopefully, they haven't confirmed it yet, but, maybe. Possibly. Please.
How about you?
He will suck any number of your appendages.
Speaking of sucking bandages.
Speaking of sucking bandages. Actually,
how's the move-in going, man? You got new stuff, you got new things, you got new toys?
No, it's pretty much done. I have like a filing cabinet at my foot now. There's more crap in this room. Does that make you feel like an adult? I've realized something. You never really grow up. You just get slower, fatter, and balder.
We have, a couple of years between our ages, Jordan, but yeah, we both stopped mentally developing at that age. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you'll grow out of watching Dragon Ball Z. No.
Nope.
Nope. Watch that shit religiously. My wrist got all messed up, so I gotta.
That's too low-hanging fruit. Would you care to elaborate?
Well, for those of you just tuning in, I got some bad carpal tunnel in my right arm, so occasionally my wrist sort of goes out of commission for a few days as it becomes agony to move it. But I'm getting some equipment to fix that, and soon it will be fixed.
Well,
just like Pedro.
Over here in the Athens region, I did get to futz around with a Tesla Model S, which was neat.
Hey, then.
Yes, ma'am.
I remember hearing something about figure skating.
We're not doing that.
No.
Nope.
No.
We'll save that for our $10 a month subscribers. You'll get that on your bonus feed. But, 100 yards away, it looked like a Maserati Quattroporte or whatever it is. And I get closer to it, and I was like, oh, it's Tesla. And there was a human thing inside of it who opened the door, and I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, I know what this is. I want to play with it. And play with the doorknobs and all that. The touchscreen thing's incredibly slow. Just neat, though. Well built. Cool. That's me in a nutshell. But, Masters Fang, I think we need to finance this venture of Linux Gamecast Weekly.
This venture?
This with a vengeance, sir.
With
hang
a
on.
vengeance.
Before I
But
forget,
yeah,
no. Before I forget,
that-
let's introduce Shatrome.
Yes, the star of every Linux Linux Gamecast episode, you, the audience.
Talking
They're
to
always
us
below
live.
the lower third. What?
Oh, yeah, you're
They're
not
there.
watching us live? You should be. We're doing this
Oh,
live
yeah.
every night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Every night.
Every night. See, there's
Damn.
other episodes you don't see.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's terrifying, petrifying, but no, every Saturday night.
Yeah, you can check that out. You can check out our live stream at linuxgamecast.com/live. But for those of you lazy bastards who are watching this after the fact, you can check us out at linuxgamecast.com/podcast, where we have some wonderful links for you to click. We got some RSS feeds for SD video, HD video, and SD audio. We got our donation buttons and our Amazon affiliate links, and for a one-time donation you can get the pride and satisfaction that you helped us out. For $3.50 a month, you go up on our leaderboard there, you can get your little plug in there, and for $10 a month you get a whole whack of stuff. You get access to our show notes, so that's the proto show before things come to a head every Saturday night. You might get to stick something really, really obscene on Pedro's face.
It's true, right here.
Yeah,
you know?
right there. And you know what? We got tons of white space here that we're willing to whore out for your amusement. So
And you're
$10
thinking
a
to
month
yourself,
gets you that.
oh, yes, we're going to be buying gold-plated Lamborghinis with Mexican children in them. You'd be wrong.
Well, we already have the Mexican children.
Fair point.
Shh.
Not the no, seriously, all jokes aside, pretty much everything we take in, I don't mean pretty much, anything you're generous enough to like throw in our directions with wet stinky cashes is awesome. We love it.
And it goes right to the show. We
turn it
we don't
immediately
spend any
right
of it
around.
for our jollies.
That mic Master
Yep.
Sphinx talking on
The
Came
T.
from you
Brown
guys.
Memorial microphone.
this headset came from
This
you
one.
guys. This mic, yeah, I paid for it myself, but that's beside the point. We
The
also
point
use it
is-
to buy.
We
extra
we
games.
also got a YouTube page.
Oh yeah, but we'll get into that
All right.
with some extra things. We might be. Oh, all right, fine.
Bam.
God.
Blam. God, jeez,
God.
man. Gotta tell them about youtube.com/LinuxGamecast. Freaking hate that. You can check out all these videos
With a
and some
spoon.
crap. I hate them.
know,
Yeah, we got
right?
some.
Yeah, we got some how-to
Linux
videos.
Gamecast
We got
Week-
some
yeah.
LGC players. We got a new one coming down the pipe, probably this week for Left 4 Dead 2. So
Left
keep
4
an eye
Dead
out.
2, all three of us. But don't forget our favorite redheaded stepchild.
Oh yes, our
Which has
hideous
been continuously
little-
beaten with the ugly stick.
Yeah, our more like our green fonted stepchild. This is reddit.com/r/Linux_gaming. The most important part of this subreddit is, of course, the underscore. And that's where we get a lot of our Linux gaming news. And it's an all-around cool place
Yeah.
that you should check
If
out.
you get any ideas, thoughts, hints, allegations, or things better left unsaid, throw them in that direction. Let's get them there. You can
and
vote on them. What's that, sir?
Also, we got a little game for you guys to play. A game of Who.
Ooh, what's this? I've never heard of it.
This is LGC's sister podcast. Our last episode of the year, or I guess last episode for a little while, is going to be on Monday, as this week was the Doctor Who series finale. But it's your one-stop shop for Game of Thrones and Doctor Who spoilers. It's like a 2-in-1 conditioner, but I used that joke already.
So you're saying, like, if people are too lazy to watch a Doctor Who podcast and a Game of Thrones podcast, they could
Hey,
just
you
watch...
you only have so many hours in the day.
Yeah, and tough times. You got to make the most of your time.
Yeah, time is money. So that about rounds it up for our pimping ourselves out to you guys. But then I detected
Yeah.
a peculiar odor. Something a wee
Wow.
rancid.
This week it's not so rancid, mainly because I bought a huge can of Febreze, but you cannot cover it up, man. I tried.
You can spray all you like.
I think it's embedded in my nostrils now. I can't even smell it properly anymore.
And that wonderful, wonderful aroma is our Steam
Linux update of the week. This week, coming directly from the Left 4 Dead 2 blog. What's this beta thing again, man?
I don't know. This is weird new thing.
Windows
like change.
I use Windows for gaming, and it confuses and both angers me simultaneously. Oh, God.
This concept of love confuses and infuriates us.
Oh, what do they have to say about it?
Well, people are a bit confused as to what this beta is. And basically it boils down to, for those of you who didn't read the blog post the first time, where it's all spelled out in black and white. White even. You get 2 colors. This is a deal. This is a steal. This is a crime if you miss this sale. But basically,
does it julienne?
It dices, it slices, it juliennes, it performs all your kitchen
sold
needs.
Done.
But basically, it runs down like this. There are 2 tracks for Left 4 Dead 2. There's the beta track and there's the regular track. The beta track gets updated constantly. That's what you're going to be playing if you're going to be on Linux. If you're on Windows, you can join in the fun too, but you should really come over to Linux because we have better parties.
I kind of like how they phrased it. It's like, yeah, well, if you're on Windows or Mac.
Yeah. But anyways, the beta introduces new features, new modes, new maps, a lot faster. The downside, though, is that you're pretty much going to get an update a day.
Now, Pedro, I hear that people are complaining about this.
Yeah, and actually, when the beta first came out and started showing up on people's games list, a lot of Windows users started bitching in the Steam community forums like, "What's this beta thing doing in my games list? I don't want it here."
Were they not familiar with like Team Fortress 2 beta? Oh.
They get Team Fortress 2 beta, they get Counter-Strike beta. They're just being bitches because, they're stuck with Windows. I kind of don't blame them for that, but, you can stop being bitches about it.
Yeah, you could switch over. We have the orange box now. All we need is Dota 2 and we're set. But
sounds neat.
But Ven, do you like gratuitous battles in space?
One thing I do like is having a F-load of free time, and that's something I absolutely apparently do not have and never, as a result, have gotten into X3. But they do have some new downloadable content available for Linux.
Some free downloadable content.
Yeah. Albion
Prelude.
I was definitely going to score the Prelude. The first one, I was going to shake you on that one. What's this about? This is DLC for X3 Terran Conflict.
Which is a space simulation action game now available on Steam for Linux. And, I don't know about you guys, but space sims don't really strike my fancy.
They're cool to look at. I'll give you that. Some of those ships look pretty neat. And if you can customize them, you can make your own badass battle cruiser and then get destroyed about 20 minutes in. Because you realize that in order to make it look badass, your ship doesn't really perform all that well.
I'm glad to see the X3 series. I think at the end of the day, here it is. It's there. It's available. You can download it. Get your hands on it. It's available for $6.69, 33% off with a wet stinky cash.
It'll go on sale during Steam sales. So if you want to hold out a month or two, that'll happen.
At the end of the day, I think we're all saying, EVE Online, remember when you had a native Linux client like a decade ago? Think about it. What's up next?
War!
What is it good for? Good God. WFT. I want to say WTF so bad, though. That hurts my dyslexia so hard.
WFTO.
What the fuck out?
For the overworld.
Yeah, what is this thing? You can pre-order it, but what am I pre-ordering? I'm confused.
Tell us, Pedro.
Well, if you pre-order, you get instant beta access on Steam because, beta goodness. And as far as I can tell, this is a godlike RTS type game. You know, it reminds me, puts me in the mindset of Dungeon Keeper. Unfortunately, Dungeon Keeper was one of the few, really good RTS games that I actually enjoyed. And I don't know, I haven't played this one, but it doesn't look like it's matching up.
Doesn't the W in that font sort of remind you of an upside down McDonald's logo?
Yeah, not really.
Not really. Well, I guess they don't have McDonald's in
Are
Portugal.
you trying to say you're not war loving it? But apparently it is a thing. It's well, I think I didn't get to play this, but I read about it and I watched other people play it. It was called Orcs Must Die, except this is kind of like Orcs Must Die on a budget.
No, I mean, Orcs Must Die is a third-person shooter with tower defense. That's actually fun. This one, it's an RTS.
Yeah, well, it's got first-person.
But how about that Linux support?
We'll see it when it shows up. I'll exactly
Yep.
say about that. But speaking of whiny little bitches,
Newman's Own.
oh, let's make some sauce.
Gary.
Yeah.
So this was kind of interesting, gentlemen. And when I saw it, I told everyone, let's just go back to it. Installed Ubuntu 12 LTS, what I'm running now to run TDH, which is recording all this and streaming all this. Invisible mouse cursor. Why are we trying to make Linux a desktop OS? Again.
What wasn't this guy all ecstatic about having a Linux port?
No, this guy is really taking the team meat approach.
Yeah, he says fuck all Linux, and we already have a desktop OS, so we don't need another one.
Because, competition is a terrible thing.
Well, this is one thing is...
We love monopolies.
Let's just go ahead and get this confirmed on the episode. Notch basically made Reddit eyes at him. Son, I disapprove. And said, man up, Nancy. But those posts have been deleted. Am I lying?
Yep.
They were something to the tune of, because we need competition in the OS market and people place value in an open operating system.
No, that one is still there. That tweet is still there.
That one's still there?
Yeah, it's the one that Ven was talking about, which he put those Reddit eyes, and he was like, man up.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Well, Gary,
Notch, ladies and gentlemen.
Glad you got your mod going on from 2004.
But it seems that Mr. Newman was caught in a bit of a truthy doothy.
No, it seems like he's smoking the pipe now.
Oh, he's
see
back
what I
on
did
the
there?
pipe.
Yeah. No, check this out. I mean, this is part 2. He is in the Steam pipe beta. Gmod Linux is kind of working. I have been told by people that they have got it working with a bit of fudging. We call it futzing here on Linux Gamecast.
Yes.
One of the few things I like about the Linux... Wow! One of the... I just absorbed that. What are our thoughts and comments?
What are the few things? They're assholes, but at least they try to fix stuff.
They fix
they're
my
assholes.
problems, right?
Those assholes.
Yeah.
They're
They will
assholes.
go ahead and
They
figure
have
out
the
stuff.
knowledge to
Yeah.
fuck it up.
So basically, Gary, you just said, we unfuck your problems. Brilliant! Great way to earn community support. Yeah, I'm sure Gmod will eventually show up, as he says, on the Linuxes, but at this point, man, eat a bag of dicks.
We'll get you that cake.
There will be cake.
There will be cake. Are you sure?
Yes.
Bag of dick cake.
Because, if there's a cake, I like one thing more than I like cake.
A good old fashioned.
Mindless violence.
Riot!
Just go with riot, you know, race-filled, anti-whatever, xenophobic riot. You know, just good old riot.
We are the 99%.
We're camping out to prove it. RiotGame.org. You can actually pre-order this for 10 quid on the website, 20 if you want early closed beta access, which means you get to play it while they're working on it. Yeah, they're on option for a green light.
The visuals kind of remind me of Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery.
Yeah, definitely. It's got that Super Brothers vibe. But at least it's on current times and it's about rioting.
Apparently the game is based off of true events. They want money so they can travel around the world to riots and observe it.
God, that was like, yeah, I'm definitely sick of these pixel graphics, but look, mindless violence. I can kind of get behind that.
Did you see the pool? They flipped the bitch.
But yeah, mindless violence. Check that out. They're on Greenlight. Screech over to riotgame.org, who doesn't understand what .org means.
Mm-hmm.
But they're there. They got their official trailer. All that business.
At least it's not .arch.
Don't arch. Even tempt them. But that's going to do it for our Steam. Echo. For the week.
Let's kick that horse back in the corner where it belongs for another week.
Yeah, let's just slide them back there, because we're about to get into the news. Welcome back to the news. This is kind of fun, man. We got, things. Check this out.
Things?
Are you cheap? Do you like not spending money?
Well, you know, I've been broke at some points in my life. I mean, I've been broke, but this is kind of like not terribly broke, but maybe looking to pinch a few quid off their, what do they call, minuscule denominations of monetary units in Portugal, Pedro?
Cents.
How boring is that? But this comes from GamingOnLinux.com. They do a cheapskate corner every week that shows you the bundles or just deals that are going on. We got Graphic. We reviewed that. Whatever that other game is, we didn't review that.
Monsters!
Yeah.
Monsters!
But what's running on Linux? And they give you a good rundown. Master Svang, you were saying.
Oh yeah, they had Double Fine Bundle on there for a while, but it might be. Is it too late to go pick up your copy of Brutal Legend?
I do believe so.
Well, damn.
But this is something I
If
would
you're
like
watching
to
this
also... Go ahead.
If you're watching this live, you still have 2 days to go on the Humble Double Fine Bundle, so...
Check this business. The Bitcoin Bundle. Who saw this coming?
The more people
was kind of
know about
inevitable.
Bitcoins, the less they're going to be worth.
That's not how Bitcoins were written, but since you don't understand the maths and it's too complicated for your beady eyes and floppy head...
I mean, Bitcoin is... The actual price to real currency is determined by supply and demand, of course. Yeah, I understand how Bitcoins work then, with solving blocks, creating more Bitcoins, and creating more Bitcoins creates more blocks.
Pedro, do you have anything entertaining to say that the audience might care for outside of Jordan ranting on?
Whammy, wham, wham, wazzle!
Well, to be honest, I really don't know why they would limit themselves to just Bitcoins. I mean, like you guys were mentioning, the price is going to go down, so things are going to start costing more Bitcoins, and since they were kind of like, stock shares,
Well, Bitcoins, unlike normal monetary systems, are not based on fiat currency, so we'll see how that deal runs out. But a good side, a friend of the show, sister site, Gaming on Linux, known Liam for quite some time. Check that out every week for the deals. But check this out. What's this?
Okay, how do you spell that?
Acanero.
Acanero. The island is
Acanero?
decided.
Yeah.
I like to call it. Well, I think that's actually Japanese for you can't change fucking camera angle.
Oh,
No, that's Diablo 2 or Diablo 3.
Yeah, it gives me a real Diablo 2 vibe.
Yeah.
No, but to tell you what this is now finally in
Public beta.
yeah
Public beta.
that
You
business.
can grab that from, you have to create an account on spicyworld.spicyhorse.com.
Spicy Horse Games. We're gonna have those links in the show notes. But there
Yep.
it is, as it is. But unfortunately, I believe no. Here's the dice. I'm the long-suffering spouse. I'm the one running Ubuntu 12.04 32-bit. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
to its credit, this out of the box. Unfortunately, on a real operating system.
Yeah, I had to write a little bash loop to get this thing to finish downloading because it kept crashing after about 5 seconds. The launcher kept crashing after about 5 seconds because they're using an older version of RB_libtorrent. So I had to do a little symlink there, and I had to make a little bash loop, but it ran. It kind of got stuck on the loading screen. I didn't really tinker with it any further than that. The video looks kind of neat, but it looks like it's another one of these Torchlight Diablo type games.
It is. It really is.
So I mean,
Tell us about it, Pedro.
Well,
I think I had my fill with Torchlight 2, which they really need to get on porting to Linux.
yeah, they should really get around to that. But this game, unlike Jordan, which, he's running Fedora, and they actually provide Fedora RPMs, I just downloaded the Fedora 18 RPM onto my, now dead distribution, and it ran. Out of the box, it installed. I clicked the launcher. Oh,
If you
look,
don't say
here's the
exactly
installer.
what that distribution is, we're going to get email.
Okay, the distribution
Floobity-doopity-doo.
was Feduntu, which is now dead. But okay. But I didn't actually run into any problems because the launcher worked fine. The game started just fine, and the only really weird thing I came across was that the lowest definition graphics and the highest definition graphics look exactly the same.
Well, I could tell a bit of difference. What's the maximum resolution of your monitor?
1920 by 1080
Yeah.
on both of them, since I replaced the default LCD of my laptop with a full HD one.
I could tell that, but
Yeah,
I
but
spend my
there's
days
no anti-aliasing,
staring.
there's no anisotropic filtering, there's nothing. It looks exactly the same.
I'm not saying it was fantastic. There's no reason to masturbate to this, but it's there.
You know
it's
what,
free.
Ben? There's always a reason to masturbate to something.
My biggest issue with this game, I mean, it's a fucking Unity game. All right, fair enough. Torrent download client, that's fantastic. But here's the dice. Why don't you have a pop-up notifications as we want to download this to YAR, as opposed to let's just download it to whatever your home directory is because that's my SSD, and sometimes I like to offload things to other SSDs or networks so they don't write to my SSDs. That would be brilliant. You can, it's an option to change it, but long after, I mean, it's only a couple hundred megs by the time I get it, and it's like, oh, that's already downloaded. Yeah, I wasn't really happy with that. The game, we're not reviewing it, but it's one of those games. It's like a JRPG. Actually, a Brazilian, not Brazilian, Argentinian type RPG.
Brazil, Argentina,
yeah, somewhere in there. Let me buy the full game. I don't want to give you micropayments on a desktop. That doesn't work. Am I wrong?
Yep. I guess, micropayments at this point really work in MMOs, like free-to-play MMOs, but this game isn't particularly open to micropayments, so let people pay money up front and get all the things,
Yeah.
Just saying.
All the things, man. That's all we want. So, at the end of the day, that's that. What do we get up next, J-Man?
We got some hairy tales.
Ooh, I think... Aren't we reviewing this?
It got ported to Linux, and this is a little Android game turned PC feature that we're going to talk about a bit later on our review section.
Well, tell me about it. I've never heard of it.
It's a puzzle type game where you guide idiots to chase mushrooms into flaming obelisk things. I guess you try to herd hipsters.
Yeah, well, I kind of looked at it as like, oh, look, white Jamaican hipsters on shroom binges.
Yeah, that's pretty much an adequate summary of this game.
But, it's fun. It's there. It is available on Desura, and I mean, it's Unity, as we'll talk about in the review. It works. I mean, good on Unity for that, period. Game aside.
Yep.
Any complaints about Unity ports?
I got none. Well, I have some. Test your damn port before you put it out on the open market.
Yep, that's where I was going.
Now, when you talk about testing a port, how about going airless?
If going airless means introducing Flash, I don't think I wanna.
Yeah, this is kind of how it boils down. Rapunzel games developed diary.
Sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
I just love this idea. Yeah, let's ditch this dead unsupported platform and move to another dead unsupported platform.
What do you mean?
Well, these guys moved from Adobe Air to Adobe Flash, and you know how hunky-dory Flash runs on Linux.
Oh, it's super silky smooth when the
super supported. Every issue gets addressed. It's wonderful. It's just a end-to-end good experience.
Well, from ReprisalTheGame.com, for those of you on Linux, we have made a first look beta build Reprisal, which you play with. This is an airless build, as Adobe has ceased support for Air on Linux. So screw you, we're going Flash, even though Flash is a dying platform that is not supported on Android.
And it hasn't been supported on Linux since 11.3, I think.
Yeah, but
I think they keep porting security updates, but that's about it.
That's about it. But they get a green light because we all need another Flash game
with retro style graphics on Linux.
That, in 3 years won't work.
Yep.
So I guess what I'm trying to say at the end of the day, with your lackady hairdo and sparkly cowboy boots, you're doing it wrong, guys.
I was going to say you're going to say buy this game, but
sure. No, don't even support this. I mean, I appreciate. I mean, you didn't move forward, you didn't move backwards, you moved sideways, laughably. That's it.
Yep.
No green light for you. No can has, not yours.
But you know what? Let's switch to something that is more deserving of support. How about the Dark Mod 2.0?
Boom shakalaka.
Yeah.
Now this is such a fun project. Now you don't know what
Yeah,
the Dark Mod is.
we've been covering it for a long while on LGC.
Man, like 39 weeks. They were, now I emphasize they were looking for beta testers because this is a very closed group. 2 pages. Beta is closed. Have no illusion that you're getting on. But you're wondering what the dark mod is, check this out. It is aiming to be a full standalone version of, well, originally you needed the Doom 3 engine, right? Am I wrong
But
about that?
IO Doom 3 exists, so now...
Right. Let's click over to this media.
If by now, if you don't know what it is, go back and watch our older episodes on YouTube. Get us lots of that money, but basically it's a thief-style stealth game.
Yeah.
Done with the Quake 3, done with the Doom 3 engine. And it's a really fun little project.
Really
and
nicely.
I can't.
Well,
wait
they've
until
been really
2.0.
busy replacing the assets from
Oh yeah.
the original Doom 3 with something they've developed. They've been doing a fantastic job of that. You can see that in the previous blog post right here with the skeletal animations. Fantastic.
Yep.
You know, same diff. But this will actually bring the dark mod, which is kind of a thief style, as Master Fang said, and Mr. Mateus said, to Linux without the need of owning Doom 3, which...
You know, at this point, I think all self-titled Linux gamers already have, you know, Doom 3 running on Linux. At least I do.
Well, I did not see this coming.
Wrong World War. Then
That's the joke. Figured
You
the Jew
suck,
would
McBain.
chime in. They do nothing.
anyways, yes, Verdun. That's an online FPS.
You actually
What?
knew the battle, man.
Yes, because in Canadian schools they teach us about World War One. That one war where Canadians did stuff. There's also
Canada. We did that one thing. Yeah.
I know some of my World War One history. Yeah.
All right, bring it to us. Put it in our face organs.
Yeah. Well, Verdun is like I said, it's yet another online FPS for Linux. Takes place in World War One, which I keep saying is a setting that isn't really explored too much in the gaming realm. Because
Of course not.
like it was really the first time people really did trench warfare, and it was one of the first wars where chemical weapons was used.
Yeah, I mean, that's what trench warfare was invented, and what did you think about the game, though, man?
Sweet mother aloud, that thing starts up and blasts my eardrums out, and it plays like any other FPS I've played, because really there's not much innovation that
Now,
can
this
go
comes
on.
from rootgamer.com, which
Root Gamer,
you
but-
need to learn. Download, don't link directly to the particular file, because guess what? There's been an update. I had an issue that Mr. Mateus had, and I had to track down the actual website where it exists. Boom. Right there. But you'll find all this information in the show notes. But let's just go ahead and fire this up here. It fixed the first time it started. I mean, it's mono. All right. It's mono, which means it's Unity. Unity, yeah, unless you complete suffering from a rectal cranial inversion, you can make it run under Linux from your Windows board. Okay? Mac,
Yep.
it's actually more difficult than Linux, which is weird. I've heard numerous developers tell me that. I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me. But when I first launched it, it kind of tried to do an updating thing and pretty much noped out, did this in stereo and dropped the mic and crashed the terminal. I think that was kind of your first experience.
Yep. Pretty much. I started the game, it tried to update itself. And then they updated it, but now I can actually start the game. I can actually attempt to start a match, but as soon as it's done loading, it freezes my computer, and I have to drop into a TTY and kill it from there, because it won't let me kill it any other way.
Kill it with fire. Yeah, I grabbed this game after they patched that crashing issue, so I didn't run into that.
I played it. You'll see a link later in the show notes if you're watching this live, unless you're a $10 a month subscriber. Then you can look at it right now. I made this note to Pedro. Screen resolutions don't work, son.
Yep.
How do you cock that up?
I don't know. When the game starts, it actually tries to full screen into both my screens, so it shows up with the 3200 resolution thing. But then you change it to a regular resolution, and it doesn't work. It looks exactly the same. So I don't get it. I mean, not just that, but they also zipped it. Means you have to either Schmod X, like Ven left in the notes, or right-click, permissions, allow executing as a program.
Children. Gather round. Chillins. How my favorite crackers do tonight, because I know a few developers might be watching this. I'm going to give you a pro tip. Directly from the stone, don't zip your Linux binaries, because they do not retain permissions.
tar-p.
What? I've never heard of it. Master's thing. What are they?
It's this wonderful little archival program that you can run from a command line. It's really easy, and you put these 4 little letters in after the word tar, and then the file you want to compress, and then the stuff you want to.
But don't you understand the joy of Linux gaming is cracking open a terminal in chmod plus X?
You know what? I love it, but I think that might be my hipster vinyl pop thing going.
Yeah, 90% of those Ubuntu users that don't know jack about Linux, but they want to use Linux, they might not know about that.
Not know about basic permissions.
Kind of
Octal. Yep. Is Octal too hard for you people?
I wonder even how you do that on Unity, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. This is available at VerdumGames.com. It's free. Verdum. You pay nothing, but you get what you pay for. Check it out. It's Unity-based. It works under Linux and those other lesser operating systems. But I'm kind of feeling a little bit scrappy, baby.
Scrappy, you say?
I'm
From scrapsgames.com.
What is this, man? This is madness, I believe. This is like BattleBots with Happy.
Happy.
Well, this is sort of like building a vehicle in Lego Racers, except that when you build your vehicle, every part actually does something and has mass and aerodynamics. It's all good stuff.
That's all you got to say about it?
Well, I suppose if we want to get into detail, it's like...
Pedro, I'll tell you exactly what this is. This is, if you're an ancient human being like me, you remember BattleBots, right?
I live in Portugal.
Get off my lawn. This is virtual BattleBots. This is Lego BattleBots. This is what this is. This is why it's important. This is why we're talking about it. Because it's also based on Unity, which just means the developer hasn't taken the time to click export and hand it to us, the ultimate tester of games, to sort it.
We are the QA department of the stars.
We're pretty much the Linux gaming. We're it. And I mean, unfortunately, Linux gaming community, we're not good, but we're it. And so, the quicker
we know you had a choice in your operating system gaming community, and you chose the wrong one.
Yeah. The quicker you come to terms with this, the better off you will be. But getting back to this, no.
I
Awesome.
kind of want to play it.
Yeah,
Linux.
I want to futz around with it.
You know what? I didn't really give this too much time just because I don't give a crap about racing games. But if I can strap a ton of guns on a car, I think
that's the whole thing. I mean, you remember we did BattleBots, not BattleBots, Rawbots last week, right?
Rawbots.
Yeah. This is kind of like that with a point.
Ooh.
So you get to make this, you get to make your own little BattleBot and do all that. I talked to the developer this week, we exchanged thoughts. And he basically screamed back in my direction. He's like, a few months. Linux development version is out. Or as Phronix.com would say, Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Zomg.
Well,
but
they do say in their latest post that they mentioned that the Macintosh build is now up, but they say that the game does at least start up on Linux at this point, and they found, that it runs flawlessly. The Windows version runs flawlessly through Wine. We don't care. We want native.
No one gives two craps about Wine anymore. Really, give us a native client. You're on Unity. You have to click a button.
Dovahkiin.
Button.
Dovahkiin.
Don't tease me with freaking Skyrim on Linux, because that's never gonna happen.
Nope.
That is just my wonderful little dreamy acid trip.
Well, speaking of acid trips, that's going to do it for the news. Coming up next, we're going to review a game. How dirty of us is that?
Yeah, it's things are gonna get a bit hairy.
Let's go. And here comes, with our own shares, yet again every week, because that's what we do at LinuxGamecast Weekly. And joining me to throw these chairs, Massa Sving.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, Sweetness. And Massa Mateus.
No glasses.
No Google Glass, because they're not allowed in Portugal. He's been banned from using them. But our review system, yes, you're right. It revolves around lawn chairs. Now, what do these lawn chairs mean? Well, that's why we have the chairsplanation.
The good old chairsplanation.
Give it to a Massa thing.
Little bit of a rundown. One chair means no, not even half worth my time. Put it away. I don't want it. Go away. No. Nope. Flip your keyboard over, press the note button, and be vaporized by a satellite cannon. Anyways, 2 chairs, not sure if wants. It's neither here nor there. Middle of the road. Check it. 3 chairs is check it out, meaning that it's good. You should look at it. And 4 chairs is shut up and take our money. We're throwing cash at the screen and nothing's happening. What's going on?
Yep.
So this week we're getting a bit hairy with Hairy Tales, and this is from hairytales.com,
Well,
and is developed by
we get
Arges.
started, while you're talking, let's just take a look while you're
Yeah.
explaining what this game is. You or Pedro, have at.
Yeah, well, you basically play these bearded little hipster Smurf things.
Eating mushrooms.
Eating mushrooms, mushroom tripping bearded hipster Smurfs. Your goal is to move
That's
tiles
a good
around.
band name.
Yes, that is a very good band name. But basically, you basically move tiles around. You try and guide the hipster into his end destination, and try not to get him killed. And it's quite a little brainy puzzle. We all had some issues, some difficulties, but that's the mark of a good puzzle game.
Where is this available before we even get started?
You can get this on Desura for $5. That's pretty good.
Yep.
And
we'll have some
like I was
links
saying, it
in
runs
the
Unity
show
engine.
notes. But with that chair explanation, we got some categories, and we're going to get into those categories. And the first one being makes with a working. This, considering this is all Linux Gamecast, the entire review that you're watching, even if you're not watching part of the live stream or the full podcast, you might be watching this as a secondary episode because we like to split them out just for your sake because we like to torture you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's the
Hurts
sole purpose
so good.
behind it. Here's the thing. We all run different distributions. I'm running Ubuntu 12.04 LTS 32-bit just to keep cricket with everything. But here's the dice. Master Spectre.
I'm running Fedora 1864-bit just because I like things that are a bit more up-to-date. And this clown here is using something that is 6 feet under. It's pushing daisies. It's gone to heaven and joined the choir invisible.
Are you
It
saying
wouldn't
it's
move
no
if you
more?
put 30,000 volts through it.
No more. Ain't no electricity that can bring it back to life. I'm looking for a new one, I am, but for now, I'm still using Ubuntu 32-bit with the PAE kernel.
So that's what they're running, and we are talking about HarryTellsGame.com. This internet, as Master Sphinx said, available for $4.99. Unity game. So here's the thing.
That kind of covers mix with the working, doesn't it?
Yeah, we could almost skip through this, but
For posterity's sake,
yeah,
Ben, what do you give it?
it's a Unity game. Unless you're doing something incredibly wrong in your life, it's going to get 4 chairs. Simple as
Yeah.
that. Master Sphinx, I think you have similar.
Yeah, no, it didn't work. It barely ran, and it blew up my system and insulted my mother. No, it's a Unity game. It's for
Boom. Check that, Master Mateus.
You know, even in the OS, out of the box. 4 chairs.
So I guess at the end of the day, what we're trying to say is it's really difficult to screw up. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible because we've seen...
oh yes,
Yeah.
unvanquished.
We've seen butchered Unity boards, and it boggles our mind how you managed to pull that off. But this was not a casualty of that. But up next, that's going to give us a total of 4 chairs. But we need to get into the shiny end sounds. Now, here's the thing. I was running standard 1080p resolution. Didn't have a problem, unlike Pedro, adjusting said resolution from the game itself. But I'm going to have to ding it because the sound is repetitive and it made me want to club baby seals after a particular amount of times. Boom, right there. 3 cheers. That's what I got to give it. Master Sphinx.
I was not too impressed with the visuals. I mean, they're not terrible, but they're not terrific. The sounds, I wasn't really paying attention too much to them. Generally, when I play puzzle games, I actually have my own music being piped through because it helped me focus a bit more. So I'm probably not the best person to be asking about how it sounds, but it looks all right. It sounds all right. Nothing terribly good or bad to write home about. I'm gonna give it a middle of the road 2 chairs.
All the way from...
He-Man.
Around the world. Anyway, so yeah,
Around
like
the
Vince
world.
said, I did have
Pedro,
one...
Pedro, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Didn't you used to review games professionally?
How's that Alzheimer's, Vin?
Yeah, you know what? We have so many dead horses lying around that we beat. It's turning into a smorgasbord, or should I say, a horse-board.
Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when 2 co-hosts do not understand the purpose and the necessity for a running gag, which we've been doing for the past 3 weeks. However, that said and explained, which is no longer funny, we shall continue with Pedro Mateus's view.
No,
settle
to answer
down,
your
Pedro.
question, yes, I was. But... okay, on my end, it had one teeny tiny issue, is that it defaulted to 1024 by 768, and I couldn't change the resolution in game. There's actually
I didn't have
an
that
option-
problem.
Yeah.
Nor did
Something on my end was not letting it change the resolution, and the only way I could do it was by going to your home folder, config, Unity 3D, ArcGIS Systems, Hairy Tails, and editing the prefs file manually. After that, it worked, so 3 chairs.
3 chairs. Well,
Yep.
how did it look? What did you feel about it? I mean, did it give you an erection or what?
I mean, for what it is, the graphics fit, and the sounds, I honestly...
At
didn't
1080p,
really
I found it.
notice.
I mean, it scaled properly.
Yeah, it does.
Master
After
Sphinx, what
I
do you
set
think?
resolution correctly.
You know, like I said, it looked fine. The reason I gave it 2 chairs is that it's nothing spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a AAA blockbuster.
Yeah.
But back to Master Mateus. Go ahead.
But for what it is, those graphics, I'm not sure about the sounds because I don't even remember hearing anything. But for what it is, the graphics fit. So yeah, 3 chairs.
Solid 3 on that. So it'll bring the total to 2 on that category. But now we have to get in controls.
Controls. So then,
Yeah.
how did it control?
Here's the thing, man. It's... Alright, think about this. You have a mobile game, and you're working on it, right? Everybody follow?
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay.
Yep.
And you want to put it on a desktop, right? Everybody still with me?
Alright, sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I suppose.
you might have to use like a wireless gerbil.
Or a wired one. We don't discriminate.
Okay.
I do.
Well,
Damn.
still. You might think that that would 100% of the time be complete rubbish. But you know what? With Hairy Tails, you'd be wrong.
Legasp.
Legas, and you better Legas. This actually translates stupidly well when it comes to controls, because with the point and click mechanisms, yeah, they're there. They work. I mean, the clicking and dragging is not needed. You know, instant swipe-ataneously. I'll just coin that right there. And no one else can ever use it, and I'll sue them. But, you know, moving about with towers, and the hippie hipster with the water when he occasionally gets bathed, and getting the directional arrows.
That's really the only way you can get a hipster to take a bath.
The only thing I gotta ding it is camera angle. I mean, if I could rotate the camera, then that was another thing. This is clearly targeted towards a mobile, not desktop. Because if I can just move it a little bit, I can get a better perspective of where I need to move the shroom-munching hipster that needs to get to his fantasy blue pool. But that's just me.
So then, what's the verdict?
Well, with a control, man. I wanted to give it a 4, but I kind of had to ding it. Man.
Yep.
Had to give it a 3 because there's no camera control. You know, I would like a better perspective on the situation, I believe is correct nomenclature. Up to you, Master Sphinx.
You know what? I was originally going to give this 2 chairs, but Ven actually convinced me, because going back over the time I spent playing the game, honestly, Ven's 100% right. It's not very often that a game aimed at tablets has a decent control scheme that works under keyboard and mouse, but this one does. My one gripe with it is really a personal one, and that's with my bummed up wrist. I can't really play all that well. So there's that, but I can't really let that harm the game score. But so yeah, I'm gonna give it 3 chairs just because it doesn't really do it for me. Kind of wish you could have a way to reverse rotate the tiles, just because it's like, oh, I clicked one too many times. Well, got to do that again. But yeah, other than that, works pretty well. but I think that's just because of the style of game this is.
Your Krill
Yeah.
Taco Matez.
Well, you guys pretty much already laid it all out, and I'll just reiterate that it's clearly a touch-oriented game. Controlling with the mouse works, but I think it would probably be 100 times better if I could, on my tablet, dragging stuff around. It would work a lot better. So, on my opinion, it's 3 chairs worthy.
3 chairs, you say?
3
Yep.
chairs,
Oh.
and that's the 3 chairs across the board. So let me do some incredibly complex and time-consuming calculations
Behold. Boop, 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 beep, doop, beep, boop, boop, beep,
on my 3 kilohertz processor.
boop, beep, boop, boop, beep, 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 boop, boop.
Beep.
So, what does that leave us
3.
with? 3, and now we have a subjective category.
Ooh.
No subjective category, it's not pretty, it's not shiny. Actually, it's just fun, and it's the one thing that all 3 of us spite-filled, dead inside, Linux gamers.
Miserable, morose, maniacal mutts.
Yes, I mean, I write in assembly, he uses Fedora, and he has a dead operating system. Trust me, you cannot get more dead inside than where we're currently at.
Unless you have one of those conjoined fetuses inside you. That's probably one of the better.
That's kind of hard. But we do like to call this segment fun. Now, for fun,
Fun! F you. And
here's the thing with the game. I mean, the puzzles, they start off ridiculously easy. I mean, like 10 minutes. Like, meh. All right. Done with this, done with this, done with this. I almost noped out from boredom. But I didn't, fortunately. Fortunately. They should cut that down, in my humble opinion. Then the mental stuff started showing up, and I was like, oh, you need to do all this, and this, and this, and this. And I was like, why is that purple dildo? That's a lie. I just made that up. That doesn't really exist, and it should.
that's $5 DLC.
I can dig it for what it is. It's definitely something, fun-wise, you might want to brain on every now and again. But unfortunately, having something you want to brain on, just cock about with, every now and again, doesn't translate well to starting up your personal computer and sitting down and playing with. This is something I could see as an app on my tablet.
Yep.
And that would be like, oh, yeah, I want to cock about with that puzzle. After saying that, I have no issues giving it 3 chairs. Master thing.
Having chronic wrist pain does not make these types of games very fun. I'm gonna just throw that out there. I will agree that the puzzles go from like really stupid easy to challenging. And that's actually pretty good because it sort of eases you in and then it sort of kicks you in the balls and says, no, now you gotta actually think. all in all, though, this style of game isn't really my cup of tea. But there's nothing particularly wrong with it, so I'm gonna give it 2 chairs.
Mmm.
Middle of the road.
Well, why so much hate?
Not so much hate. Two chairs isn't necessarily a fail. It's a not sure if want. One chair is for the absolute garbage.
Just for the fun, but
Yeah.
our favorite fun-loving Mexican.
He's so fun. Look at him.
It's true.
Border jumping.
Couldn't think of a better one.
Hey, you guys already mentioned most of the points I was going to make, and like I said earlier, it would be a lot more fun if I was on a tablet.
Pedro,
playing it
you're a
like
damn
Ben
liar. I saw your earlier draft in the show notes. You wanted to curb stomp this game so hard you put on cleats.
No, I
They're
hadn't written
actually
anything
pink
below the
cleats.
chairs, but They're still the same.
Oh, he was dancing while he was doing it.
I know, some sort of like fake river dance thing. I don't know what he was trying to do.
It's weird. Not that there's
Yeah,
anything
I
wrong
can't
with
dance.
that.
I can't dance. It's true.
You
In
can-
any case, like
Pedro,
Ben said,
you can dance
Yeah.
if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
Nah. Well, like Ben was saying,
We got a
it's
$4.99
definitely a
game, and
mobile
you're going to
game.
talk about the fun aspect, so let's hear it.
Do it.
Yeah, well,
Bring it.
like you guys were saying, it starts really easy. The tutorial levels were boring, and when it kicks in, it gets, I don't know, the difficulty curve is actually pretty smooth compared to some of the games we've already reviewed, but it doesn't really cut it for me in the fun department. It does require some lateral thinking, and it does one thing right above most other puzzle games that I've seen so far, which is it offers you multiple solutions to a single puzzle. No one puzzle, well, the first ones, yeah, you go in a straight line.
Because
And
it's
you're there.
literally point A to point B. But
yeah.
Yeah, but that was kind of one of my original complaints. I mean, just to expand on this, not to interject, is that long intro was long.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I guess it had to explain all the game mechanics. But even then, it kind of didn't.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems with the game. I mean, a good game has a tutorial when a new gimmick is introduced. Let's call them gimmicks. Half-Life 2 is now on Linux, and that game is once again a prime example of a tutorial done right. They don't dump the exposition all the way at the beginning, and then, you know, by the time you actually need a specific thing, like happened with Brutal Legend last week, you don't remember how or even why you need to do that. But this game, it introduces everything at the beginning, and then, okay, you're on your own, get out of here, do what you must. And while it's good because it offers more than one way to solve each puzzle, and no one probably, except, you know, on those really hard levels, no one has the same solution to, you know, the midway puzzles.
So at the end of the day, how many chairs would you give it?
With all that in mind, and the fact that I didn't find it particularly fun, 2.
Oh, snapple sauce.
So for our totals, we got 4 in the works, 2 in the looks, 3 in the controls, and 2 in the funds.
Give it the verdict, Master Sveg.
I gotta recalculate this now.
No, it's still the same.
It's
It's still the same.
Okay, yeah, so 2 chairs.
2 chairs. Now,
2 chairs. Not sure if once.
not 1 chair. 2
One chair is avoid at all costs.
2 chairs.
Again,
Chair explanation. Not sure if 1, but that's not a bad thing. That's why we introduced the 4-chair policy.
yes, it means that check this out because it might be your thing.
Yep. And if they do release an Android version, I want to play it.
I think that would be fun. I'm still, you know, outside of like, I mean, it's definitely a game that you'd want to pick up and play, but that's not really conductive for something on your desktop because you don't normally sit down and it's like, oh, I want to pick up and play that right quick, you know, and give it the beans. It doesn't happen on the desktop, even with SSDs in our modern world. But you know what? That does it for our reviews, and we're about to get into the feedback. So, here's the thing. We like it when you scream back in our face organs. Thing is, you took us up on that offer. So, this week, got a little bit of extra feedback. Well,
We got double feedback.
complete total double feedback.
Double feedback from end to end. But first off, from Dean Thompson. He writes,
What is this guy? I don't even know about it.
we don't know, some mystery dude from Google Plus. Some random clown who decided that it would be a good idea to write us an email or a Google Plus message.
Oh, what else? Gag me with a spoon. Tell me what he said.
Gag me with a spoon. Anyways, he says, I started listening to your podcast a few weeks ago. The more I listened to it, the more I enjoyed. Initially, I thought Ven was putting on the voice, which kind of annoyed me. But then you guys mentioned that was how he actually spoke, which it is. Loving the humor and the personalities, will definitely look into donating. Smiley face.
Money. Give us money.
Money. Hey, Jordan.
What?
Winky face.
Winky face.
It burns.
all Ben can do is son I am disappointed face.
Yep. Right there.
Right there. But Pedro,
what have we got coming up next?
Oh yeah, this one's actually pretty interesting because I shared Ven's post on Google Plus to the Linux Google Plus community, and guess who wrote back?
Oh, I don't know. I've never heard of him.
Never heard of him? I think we reviewed one of their games last week.
Oh, I do remember.
Didn't they have a bundle or anything going on right now?
Yeah, well, this is kind of how it worked out. You know, we do this thing that you're watching right now. If you're watching this live, I mean, this is kind of like, what was it called? Extra credits that did the whole thing of do not tango with the type of people who installed Linux on the PlayStation.
Yep.
We like to say do not tango with the type of people who watch LinuxGamecast Weekly live streamed on Linux on Saturday night. You're not going to win.
They have zero life.
Yeah. You've already lost this battle. Teeth and nails, they will fuck you over. Politely, they'll leave you a thank you card. But,
and maybe a single red rose if they're feeling up to it.
But, you know, the guys from, you know, Full Throttle and all that, The Cave.
The Cave.
Psychonauts.
We've done a couple of their games on the show.
Yeah.
And
The Cave, Psychonauts,
we post
Costume
up,
Quest,
but, you
stacking.
know,
We never covered costume, or sorry, we never covered Costume Quest or Psychonauts or stacking, but
we're getting there.
We'll do it eventually.
We did all this business, and, you know, it's like, hey, you know, here's our latest show. This was last week, episode 38, the year of Linux gaming, and one of the comments was from...
Double Fine.
Yeah. I shit you not. Double Fine Productions.
And he says, "This is good, yeah."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully they watched it. But
hopefully,
at the end of the day, I think we were more fair than Yahtzee.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
and that's our tagline: Linux Gamecast. We're fairer than Yahtzee.
We didn't need the Tourette's syndrome. Not Tourette's. What am I thinking of? Some other affliction that you human things have. Oh, that's going to wrap it up for our feedback, but still feeling like we need to whore ourselves out just a
little bit. Yeah, so
what you got for us, man?
Check us out at
Wait. Cue the music.
Cue the music. There we are. All right. Well, you can check us out at linuxgamecast.com/podcast. View all our links for our show. We got RSS feeds for SD video, HD video, and SD audio. We got donate buttons. You're a smart person. You can figure out how to use those. Click them. Give us money. Click on our affiliate links. Buy stuff off Amazon. Get stuff you regularly need and pay us as well. Additionally, we have our YouTube page, youtube.com/LinuxGamecast. Watch all our old videos. See how we've improved. See how we've gotten worse. And just watch them all once for good measure. We got our favorite subreddit, reddit.com/r/Linux_gaming. Got some good stuff there. Gary's on the pipe. And finally, we got Game of Who, our sister show, where we go and talk about Doctor Who and Game of Thrones. And that's about it for whoring ourselves out. So I'm Jordan Sfung. You can find me at Jordan Sfung on Twitter or plus Jordan Sfung on the Google Plus. This gigantic bastard here. Gigantic.
I'm not gigantic, man.
Obey.
But
Obey.
fine, I'm Pedro Mateos.
Read the line, monkey.
At unaccounted for on Twitter or plus Pedro Mateos on Google Plus.
Hi, y'all. I'm Vin Stone. At Vin Stone on the Twitter nets and plus Vin Stone on the G pluses. I hope y'all
He's
have
a Southern Belle, isn't he?
fantastic day. But you know what, y'all? Wave at the lovely people. Ah!